The air smells of smoke before I even step out of my car. It's not the comforting kind, like a campfire on a crisp Seattle night, but sharp, acrid, the kind that stings your lungs and whispers danger. I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles whitening as I stare at the Voss family mansion, its sleek glass and stone facade glowing under the sodium streetlights. The driveway is a sea of polished Teslas and Range Rovers, each one screaming wealth, status, everything I've never been enough to claim. Somewhere nearby, a fire crackles too close. I catch a flicker of orange in the distance, beyond the manicured hedges, and my pulse spikes. Sirens wail faintly, a low hum under the thrum of music spilling from the house. The gala is in full swing, and I'm already late. I should drive away. Every instinct screams it. But this is my family's annual gala, the kind of event you don't skip unless you want to hand them another reason to call you irrelevant. I kill the engine, grab my clutch, and step out into the chilly November air. My heels click on the cobblestone path, each step heavier than the last. The smoke thickens as I approach the stone steps leading to the entrance. A fire truck's red lights flash in the distance, too close to the estate's edge. My stomach. Twist. Is it a neighbor's property? A brush fire? No one else seems to notice, or they're pretending not to. Typical Voss behavior: ignore the chaos, polish the facade. The porch light blinds me as I reach the door. No one greets me. No surprise there. I'm Alara Voss, the daughter who never quite fit the frame of their perfect family portrait. Inside, the mansion is a glittering cage of crystal chandeliers and marble floors. Laughter bounces off the high ceilings, glasses clink, and voices hum with the kind of practiced charm that only comes with money. I hover at the entrance, scanning the crowd tech moguls, local politicians, distant cousins who only show up for the free champagne. No one looks my way. I am a ghost in my own home. I weave through the crowd, my black dress brushing against tailored suits and sequin gowns. My mother, Diane, stands near the grand staircase, her silver dress catching the light like a beacon. She's laughing, her head tilted back, but her eyes are sharp, scanning the room for someone worth her attention. Not me. Never me. I aim for the dining room, knowing my seat won't be at the main table. It never is. Look who decided to grace us. Diane's voice cuts through the noise, sharp as a blade. She's beside my father, Richard. Both of them dress like they're auditioning for a Forbes cover. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes, and I feel it, the familiar sting of being seen but not wanted. Traffic, I mumble, forcing a nod. It's a lie? I spent 20 minutes in my car, parked in this very driveway, trying to convince myself to walk through that door. Diane doesn't respond. She turns away, adjusting a vase of white roses on the buffet table as if it's more important than my existence. I find a corner table tucked near the kitchen doors, far from the main stage where my family holds court. The chair is cold, its wooden frame chipped, like it was dragged out of storage just for me. I sit, my hands folded in my lap, and try to blend into the wallpaper. The room hushes as Richard raises his wine glass, the clink of crystal against his ring echoing like a gavel. Thank you all for being here, he says, his voice smooth, practiced, the kind that closes million-dollar deals. Tonight isn't just a celebration. It's about the future of the Voss legacy. My stomach drops. I know what's coming. I've always known, but hearing it still feels like a punch to the chest. We've decided, Richard continues, his gaze sweeping the room but never landing on me, that the family's trust, $1.5 million, will go to Ethan. He's earned it. He's the future of this family. The room erupts in applause, polite but enthusiastic, the kind that follows a well-rehearsed script. Ethan, my younger brother, stands beside Richard, his smile modest but practiced. He's the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, even when he did nothing at all. I stare at my hands, my nails digging into my palms. I don't clap. I can't. And as for Alara, Diane chimes in, her voice light but laced with venom. She's always been so independent. She knows how to handle her own life. The silence that follows is louder than any insult. My throat tightens, a lump forming that I can't swallow. I'm not surprised, but that doesn't make it hurt less. No one looks at me, not Ethan. Not my cousins, not even Uncle James, who once pulled me aside at a family barbecue and said, "You're the real deal, Alara. Don't let them dim your light." Now he's laughing at something Richard says, avoiding my gaze like I'm a stranger. Richard lifts his glass again. To Ethan. More clapping, more cheers. I sit still, my hands gripping the table's edge, the world blurring into white. Noise. In my head, one thought screams. I'm still here. But I'm not. Not to them. Then it happens. A deafening crash rips through the room. The chandelier above the main table sways, its crystal arms groaning before it plummets. Screams erupt as it smashes into the table, glass shattering across the floor. I leap back, my chair tipping over, my heart pounding. Shards skid across the marble, stopping inches from my feet. Ethan ducks, unscathed. Richard and Diane freeze, their faces pale. The crowd scatters, some rushing for the exits, others staring in shock. Everyone, stay calm. Richard shouts, but his voice wavers. I glance up, my pulse racing. The ceiling, where the chandelier hung, is cracked, wires dangling like exposed nerves. Was it an accident? The fire outside, the sirens, something feels wrong. I scan the room, searching for answers. But all I see are panicked faces and my family's calculated recovery. Diane approaches me, her heels crunching on broken glass. She holds out a gold-edged envelope. Her smile is cold as the air. For you, dear. A little something from the family. My hands tremble as I take it. Inside is a check made out to me. Amount, 0. I stare at it, my breath catching. It's symbolic, Diane says, her voice dripping with mockery. Behind her, a few guests chuckle, not loud, but enough to burn. I fold the check, tucking it back into the envelope, and give her nothing. No tears, no words. She walks away, satisfied. I collapse into the nearest chair, my legs weak. The room spins, the laughter and clinking glasses fading into a dull roar. I'm 10 years old again, holding up a perfect report card, waiting for Richard to say anything. Other than, where's Ethan? I'm 12, watching my birthday cake sit forgotten while Ethan's soccer trophy gets a toast. I'm 25, saving my grandfather's tech startup from collapse, only to see it handed to Ethan like a gift. I've never belonged here. Not really. A flicker of movement catches my eye. Across the room, Grandma Evelyn stands slowly, her silver hair catching the light. Her voice, quiet but sharp, cuts through the chaos. Now it's my turn. The room freezes. Forks hover, glasses pause. Even Richard turns, his brows raised, caught off guard. You can celebrate your son, Richard, Evelyn says, her voice steady, but don't erase your daughter. The silence is heavy, almost tangible. A few guests shift uncomfortably, glancing. At each other, Richard laughs, that forced boardroom chuckle. Come on, Mom. Don't make a scene. Alara's fine. She's independent, right? The crowd laughs nervously, and just like that, the moment dies. I feel a spark of hope when Evelyn speaks, but it fades as she sits, her hands folding neatly in her lap. She won't fight them. Not tonight. I look away, my chest tight, searching for an escape from this suffocating room. Then I see him, Uncle James, laughing with Richard, his eyes sliding past me like I'm invisible. His words from years ago echo. You're the future, Alara. I believed. Him, now, his betrayal cuts deeper than Diane's check. I stand too fast, my chair scraping loudly. Heads turn, then look away. I need air, space, anything but this. I move toward the main table, my steps unsteady, and notice the name cards perfectly arranged, each one a claim to a seat. Mine isn't there. I scan twice, 3 times, nothing. The realization hits like a slap. I'm not just sidelined, I'm erased. I back away, careful not to make a scene, and find a lone chair near the kitchen doors. where servers rush past with trays, ignoring me. I sit the seat cold as stone and tell myself not to cry. Not here, not in front of them, but the air shifts again. A server brushes past, his tray wobbling and a cup of scalding coffee tips toward me. I jerk back, the liquid splashing across my arm, burning through my sleeve. I bite back a scream, my skin stinging as I clutch it. The server mumbles an apology and vanishes. An accident? My eyes dart to the crowd, to Diane's fleeting glance. Was it intentional? The fire outside, the chandelier, now my nerves scream that something's wrong. But I have no proof. I rest my glass on a side table, watching condensation pool on its surface. The laughter around me feels like a taunt, a reminder of the kid who chased it, desperate for a place. I'm still that kid, sitting in a chair that's always been mind shoved against the wall, forgotten. I choose numb over tears. It's safer. Then I feel Evelyn's gaze. Across the room, through the glitter of wine glasses and camera flashes, she watches me. Her face is unreadable, no smile, no frown, just a steady stare. I want to look away, but I can't. Something in her eyes feels like a question, a challenge. I don't yet understand. And in that cold chair, a seed takes root. I don't know what it is, hope, anger, or something else, but it's there, growing. The gala continues, the crowd recovering from the chandelier's fall. Richard's voice booms again, rallying the guests, but I barely hear it. My arm throbs from the burn, the smoke outside still lingers in my nose, and Evelyn's gaze burns. Into me, I'm not done here, not yet. But as I sit, clutching the blank check, I know one thing. I'm not invisible. Not anymore. And whatever comes next, I'm ready to face it, even if it means facing them. The string lights overhead flicker, casting jagged shadows across the manicured lawn of the Voss estate. The gala has spilled outside, the Seattle night air thick, with the scent of jasmine and lingering smoke from the fire that still burns somewhere beyond the hedges. I stand at the edge of the party, my arm throbbing from the scalding coffee, the blank check crumpled in my clutch. The crowd hums with chatter, glasses clinking, but their eyes slide past me like I'm a shadow. Then a spark crackles above me, a faulty string light spitting embers. I leap back as one grazes my dress, singeing the hem. My heart lurches another. Accident, the fire, the chandelier, the coffee, and now this. My instincts scream sabotage, but my family's polished smiles offer no answers. Richard's voice booms over a microphone, pulling the crowd's attention to the terrace. Family, friends, a moment, please. He calls, his tone warm, commanding. The patriarch everyone loves to love. I freeze, my legs rooted to the gravel path. Tonight, we're proud to announce a new chapter. The Voss Family Foundation, once the Harris Legacy Fund, will now be the Ethan Voss Foundation. The applause is deafening, a wave of approval that drowns out the pounding in my chest. The foundation, my foundation, built with years of late nights, personal savings, and dreams I poured into it after college is no longer mine. They've rewritten history, slapped Ethan's name on it like I never existed. I look down at my hands, trembling, not with anger, but with a hollow emptiness. I'm nothing to them. Worse, I'm nothing to myself because I'm clapping. My hands move on their own, caught in the rhythm of the crowd, applauding my own erasure. I jerk them down, nearly dropping my clutch, my breath ragged. I'm done being their puppet. A soft touch on my elbow startles me. Raina, the family's former accountant, stands there, her eyes sharp despite her gentle smile. You need to see this, she whispers, pressing an envelope into my hand. Before I can ask, she melts back into the crowd. My fingers close around. The paper, her urgency lingering like a warning. I slip past the tables, away from the lights, until I'm under the shadow of an old oak at the estate's edge. The envelope tears open under my shaking hands. Inside are financial records, donation receipts, letters all signed in my name. Founding donor, Alara Voss. My foundation documents, they read erased. They didn't just rename it. They've legally rewritten me out of existence. The papers nearly slip from my grasp. I catch them before they hit the grass, my breath shallow. If I fight, I lose them the scraps of family I still cling to. If I stay silent, I vanish. The choice feels like a blade against my throat. I tuck the envelope into my clutch and turn back to the party, but the ground shifts beneath me. A loose stone on the path catches my heel, and I stumble, my ankle twisting. Pain shoots up my leg, but it's the realization that stops me cold. The path was pristine this morning. Someone tampered with it? My eyes dart to the crowd, to Diane's. Fleeting glance, Richard's forced smile. They wouldn't. Would they? I limp back to the mansion, the party's glow a cruel contrast to the darkness pooling inside me. I don't belong here, but I can't leave not yet. I need answers, and there's only one place I'll find them. Grandma Evelyn's study, tucked at the back of the mansion, feels like a sanctuary. The hallway smells of cedar and old books, a world apart from the glittering facade outside. My hand trembles as I knock, but the door creaks open before I touch it. Evelyn stands there, her silver hair glowing faintly in the lamplight. "It's time," she says, her voice soft but heavy with inevitability. I step inside, the air thick, with memory shelves of legal tomes, black and white photos of a family I barely recognize, a quilt stitched by hands long gone. I sink into a worn armchair, my ankle throbbing, the envelope burning in my clutch. Evelyn sits across from me, silent for a moment. Then she speaks, her voice low. "I should have told you sooner." "Told me what?" My throat tightens, the words barely escaping. She reaches for a wooden frame on the bookshelf, but it's not a photo. It's a property deed, faded but clear. "This house was supposed to be yours," she says. "Your grandfather wanted it for you after I'm gone. Richard swore it would be, but 2 years after your grandfather died, he changed. The paperwork? Put Ethan's name on it. Took yours off before you ever knew." My stomach lurches. I shake my head, unable to process it. "Why didn't you say anything?" Her voice cracks, her eyes distant. "Because he's my son. I kept believing he'd remember his promise." She looks smaller, frailer, and I realize she's been erased too, her loyalty used against her. We're mirrors of the same betrayal. She hands me a small wooden box. Inside is a single sheet of paper, a contract, signed by Richard, promising the estate to me after Evelyn's lifetime. "This is your proof," she says, sliding it closer. My fingers hover over it, afraid to touch it, afraid of what it means. Proof that my father, who taught me to ride a bike, who cheered at my graduation, is a liar. Proof that I've been stolen from not just tonight, but for years. What do I do with this? I whisper, "Whatever you choose," Evelyn says, her voice like stone. "Just remember who you've always been." I sit there, the document untouched, as moonlight creeps across the floorboards. The weight of it feels like a weapon or a goodbye. I don't know which. When I step outside, the party's still alive, string lights flickering like they're mocking me. I'm halfway across the lawn when Richard's voice cuts through again. One more announcement. He calls, microphone in hand, his smile. Wide, I freeze, my heart pounding. He's about to cement my erasure, and I can't stop him. Then it happens. A loud snap echoes above, and a string light rig collapses, wires sparking as it crashes toward me. I dive to the ground, my hands scraping. Gravel, the rig missing me by inches. Screams erupt, guests scatter, but I stay down, my breath ragged. This wasn't an accident. The fire, the chandelier, the coffee, the stone, now this someone wants me gone. I look up, searching for Richard, Diane, anyone who might betray their guilt. But they're all playing their parts, calming the crowd, pretending I don't exist. I stumble to my feet, my dress torn, my hands scraped raw. I can't stay here. I limp back to Evelyn's study, my heart pounding louder than the music. I don't knock this time. I push the door open, my breath hitching, and collapse into the armchair. The room smells of lavender and dust, a faint comfort against the chaos. I curl up, pulling my knees to my chest, trying to disappear. The envelope from Raina, the contract from Evelyn, they burn in my mind. I've lost. I was never meant to. An hour passes, maybe more, before I hear the door close softly. The click of Evelyn's cane on the carpet tells me it's her. She doesn't speak, just lowers herself into the chair beside me, her presence steady, anchoring. After a long silence, she says, "I let them take your grandfather from me. I won't let them take you." Her words break something inside me. Not sadness, not anger, but recognition. I'm seen. For the first time, I'm not invisible. Tears blur my vision, but I don't let them fall. I remember being 6, slipping under the water at the community pool, flailing, silent. My parents didn't notice, but Evelyn did. She pulled me out, held me on the cold concrete until I could breathe again. Tonight feels the same. She's my anchor, the only thing tethering me to who I am. She shifts, opening a drawer. She places a folder in my lap, her hands steady. "These are yours," she says, "not for revenge, for justice." Inside are original ownership documents for the estate, my grandfather's will, handwritten agreements proof the house is mine, and a small digital recorder. She tells me it's Richard's confession, recorded years ago, admitting he altered the deed. His voice, undeniable, a betrayal caught in time. I can't breathe. "I don't know if I can fight," I whisper. If I use this, am I just becoming them?" "It's not about taking what's theirs," Evelyn says, her voice firm. "It's about reclaiming what's yours." Her words draw a line surrender or something else. I stare at the papers, the recorder, her steady hands. My own hands, trembling, don't feel weak anymore. They hold proof. Proof I matter. Proof I exist. For the first time, I feel resolve sharp and cold. Cutting through the fear, I stand, clutching the folder, my spine straight. I'll stop. Being the failure, I whisper, not to her, but to myself. Evelyn doesn't reply. She doesn't need to. For 2 days, I shut the world out. I stay in Evelyn's study, the silence of her bookshelves, my only company. She watches me pore over documents, her presence quiet but unwavering. I'm not plotting revenge. I'm unlearning silence. I meet her lawyer, Mr. Callahan, a man with a voice like gravel and eyes that don't blink. He slides a folder across the table, revealing a clause in the foundation's founding paperwork. It names me as the rightful controller unless I explicitly revoked consent I never gave. Richard assumed I'd never read it, never fight. I signed the reactivation notice, my hand steady, not with anger, but with clarity. I'm not the girl they erased anymore. The community event looms, a gathering of Seattle's elite donors, city officials, tech tycoons Richard needs to impress. It's held at a historic downtown venue, stone walls and stained glass, screaming legacy. They're the early Diane, her hair perfect, eyes scanning the crowd. Richard shaking hands like a politician, Ethan basking in his new title. I don't rush. I wait until Richard steps to the podium, his speech about the Ethan Voss Foundation in full swing. Laughter. Applause. The crowd eating it up. I walk in, slow, deliberate, cutting through the rows of chairs. Conversations die, not out of respect, but confusion. Richard sees me first, his voice faltering mid-sentence. Diane whispers, "Not here, not now." I keep walking. At the podium, Richard tries to recover. "Alara, join us." "No." My voice is quiet but final. I pull the folder from my bag, Evelyn's documents, the contract, the proof. I place them on the podium, each page a quiet legal blow. This rebranding is invalid. I retain full control over the foundation. Effective immediately, silence. Not polite, not respectful, just absence. Richard stares at the papers like they're venomous. Diane's hands shake, clutching her pearls. Ethan looks like he wants to disappear. I don't beg for approval. I'm done begging system. Oozing. I step back, letting the silence speak for me. The crowd's murmurs grow, a mix of shock and curiosity. Richard's face reddens, his jaw tight. He grabs a folder from the table, holding it up like a shield. She forged these papers. She manipulated my mother. He shouts, his voice cracking with desperation. Gasps ripple through the audience. Diane nods beside him, her voice sharp. Don't believe her, you know how she's always been. Accusation hits like a knife, sharper than I expected. My own father, calling me a fraud in front of people who've known me since I was a child. I glance around, no one moves, no one defends me. The weight of their doubt presses down, threatening to crush me. This is it, the final blow to erase me for good. Then Evelyn's voice cuts through. Enough. She walks forward, cane steady, Mr. Callahan at her side with a locked document case. Richard stammers, Mom, you know what you signed. I know what I never signed, she says, her voice flat. She nods to Callahan, who opens the case and pulls out a digital recorder. Richard's voice fills the air, clear and damning. I changed the deed without telling Mom. She's too old to fight me. The crowd falls silent, the whispers turning against him. His folder drops, paper scattering. Diane's face crumples, her words failing. Ethan looks away, abandoning his father. The air shifts. For years, every room pushed me out. Now they step back from Richard. Callahan hands me the final documents, my control over the estate, the foundation, everything they stole. Evelyn touches my shoulder. Now it's yours. Do better. I look at the papers, their weight heavy but not victorious. I'm exhausted, not triumphant. Richard collapses into a chair. Diane weeps silently, and Ethan stands alone. I've won, but it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like surviving.